Hi everybody. Today we will continue our new ESPEasy implementation series, and today we will go a little bit further and we will see how easy it's to integrate the MPDM version 4 universal AC dimmer board with ESPEasy firmware and Domoticz. Um, for today, we will use the same setup as last time. So basically, we have the same MPDM um, version 4 board and the next evolution board and the light bulb. It's so dark because I disabled the auto exposure and all the auto things on the camera to try to make it looking a little bit more realistic in terms of dimming the light bulb. Um, for this reason, also I've chosen a smaller light bulb that will help us to see a little bit better what's happening. Uh, if you remember from last time, we were able to um, upload the ESPEasy firmware, and it was quite a straight and easy process. So let me check if it's alive. Yeah, so now we are online with ESPEasy. And if you remember, also we were able to check the PWM command, and we seen it working okay. So uh, let me light up a little bit the light bulb. The on-screen flickering, it's because of the mains frequency. Yeah? So as I said, I have disabled everything on the camera uh, just to be able to obtain let's say a better stepping on the dimming. Yeah, so uh, this is the reason of the flickering. It's related with the mains 50 hertz. Yeah, okay, so now we can see better. Yeah, so we have an AC light bulb, we have the MPDM version 4 board that is connected directly through PWM to a next evolution board that is basically an ESP8266 development board. Yeah, and we can now directly change the the light level with the help of the PWM command. Yeah, so now I think you can see better the dimming level, and to this low level you can see how stable it's the MPDM version 4 AC dimmer driver. Yeah, so you can see here the filament of the light bulb very dim. Yeah, so it's no flickering, no nothing, and it's not possible to be, because as I said, everything is done in hardware, so there are no software glitches or other things like that. Yeah, so at 890 it will be completely off. Yeah, okay, so now let's go further and let's try to see how can we integrate our new ESPEasy device with Domoticz. For this thing, I've just installed Domoticz on my RaspberryPi2 board. Um, Regarding the Domoticz installation, it's really nothing to talk about. Um, it's a pretty straightforward process. So basically, what you need to do, uh, I, I mean to install the binary version. Yeah, so I used the binary version. I didn't stay and compile Domoticz. I didn't want to do anything fancy. I just wanted to make a simple installation and to see if with this already provided binary simple installation I'm able to drive or not the dimmer board. Yeah. So what I have done, it's very simple. You can find it on the Domoticz website. This is basically the command that you need to type, and it will install very smooth um, Domoticz. In terms of the Raspberry Pi, as I said, it's a RaspberryPi2, and I have installed on it Raspbian Linux 8 with 4.1.19 v7 plus kernel. So it's a standard setup, nothing fancy, nothing to compile. I've just installed Raspbian on top of a standard Raspbian Linux, and that's it. Yeah. So after the installation finished, you just need to go in the web page, and you just need to type your Raspberry Pi IP address, and it will definitely start on the defined port. Yeah. So I'm using here HTTPS. You can use also HTTP with the port 8080, that it's the default port for Domoticz. Yeah. The IP address is definitely checkable, and you can see it here. I'm connected through wireless here, so this is the IP address of our Domoticz server. Yeah, 116. This is very important to have it in your mind or write it down, because we need to use it in our setup. Yeah. Okay. So this is in terms of Domoticz installation. As I said, I will not insist too much about, because it's nothing to insist. If you want to use the binary version, it's very simple. Just type that command, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. So now we need to go back to our ESPEasy device. I mean the Next Evolution board. And what we need to do, we need to be sure that here in protocol we are choosing the Domoticz HTTP for now. We will locate the controller based on IP address, not host name, and we need to write the controller IP. In our case, as you have seen already, it's 192.168.1.16. So you just need to write it here, and after that, just press the submit button, and that's it. Yeah. Because we are using this time a direct PWM drive, yeah, so we are not using any kind of extra devices. It's nothing to define in devices, it's nothing to do in hardware, it's nothing else to do. Yeah, so just be sure that in the configuration you have on the protocol enabled Domoticz HTTP and the proper IP address of your Raspberry Pi. Yeah. Okay. Now we need to go back to Domoticz, and we need to define few things here. The first thing that we need is to define in hardware, let's say a new hardware device. Yeah. So I will just define here a new hardware device. Let's try to keep it consistent, so I will just take a look for it in the scripts. Yeah, so I don't want to start changing things, so in scripts Lua we have the MPDM version 4 dimmer. Yeah, so we will create this device. with this name, and this one will be just a dummy device. So dummy means that it doesn't do anything, it's just used for virtual switches, yeah, because we will use a virtual switch to switch our AC dimmer board, yeah. Okay, so we will add this new virtual board, yeah, and after that we can create a virtual sensor, yeah, that it's MPDMv4 dimmer. This type of sensor, we will define it as a switch, yeah. Okay, so you can see the message that it was created. After creation of the virtual switch, we can go in the light switches and we will find it enabled. Okay, now what we need to do? We want it as a dimmer, not as a switch, so we need to press the edit button, and from the switch type we will choose dimmer, yeah. This is the only thing that you need to change. Change it to dimmer, nothing else to be changed. Press the save button, yeah, and now you can see that it's looking like a dimmer. Okay, after running some tests, I've discovered that the easiest way to manage the MPDMv4 dimmer, and I think also other dimmers in Domoticz, will be to just use some events, and also based on these events you can do the dimming, and also very important, when you are switching on and off your dimmer, so you are basically using it as a switch, you want to be able to save your status, yeah. So let's suppose that you have a 50% dim level, and you switch off your dimmer, and when you are turning it back on, you want to come on to the previous level, that means 50%, yeah. I was looking around, and I was thinking maybe I'm missing something, but the only solution that I found was to use a user variable. So basically we are treating the dimmer as an event, yeah. So each time when we are changing something, it will be an event, and also we will save the status, the dim level, if you want, in a user variable, yeah. So to be able to achieve this task, what we need to do is in the in the setup, under the more options, look after the user variable um, option, yeah, just click on it, and here you need to define the variable where we will save our dimmer status, yeah. I define a variable with the name dim, yeah, it's an integer and it has an arbitrary value, it really doesn't matter now, yeah. But what's important is to be sure that this variable, it's defined properly as name and type, yeah. So we have a variable named dim, and the type is integer. Now in terms of properly treating the events, uh, what we need to do is to use a script, yeah. So what I have done, I have just write a simple script. Okay, so let's see what we have here. The first thing that we need to do is to define the device name, yeah, that in our case it's MPDMv4 dimmer, yeah. We need the IP address, and in this case I mean the IP address for the ESP8266 next evolution board, yeah. And we have the 192.168.169, and of course the pin that we will use for driving the MPDM version 4 AC dimmer board, that it's in our case, in our example 5. Yeah. And after that, things are quite simple. We are checking if the device is changed in status, obviously. Yeah, as I said, we are treating here the events as they are happening. Yeah, and if the uh, device change is off, then I will print just for let's say ease of debugging, I will print the off dim value. Yeah, that means the value of the dimmer for that moment. Yeah, and the value that will be sent to the dimmer, it's 890. This 890, it's the maximum dimming value. Yeah, so if you have a different dimming interval, you need to change this value. Yeah, for example, if your light bulb is off lower than 890, if you don't change this value and you keep 890, then when you're pressing the off button, it will start flickering because you are out of the dimming interval. You remember we were talking also last time about out of dimming interval and how to keep the driver synchronized with the 50 or 60 hertz sine wave, mains sine wave. It might be a good idea to go back on YouTube and take a look on the dedicated video about the voltage control and dimming interval and things like that. Yeah. On the other side, if your light bulb is going fully off higher than 890 and you keep 890 here, it will not go off full. Yeah, so you need to keep this value in balance. Yeah, a balance between going out of sync and keeping the light bulb off. Yeah, okay, so this is the off branch, if you want. In case of the on branch, so when we are pressing the on button and we are coming from an off stage, yeah, of course the value that we will allocate, it's the value that it's saved already in the user variable dim that we have defined before in hardware. Yeah, and this is the value that we are saving when we are doing it, when we are switching it off. Yeah, and after that I'm just printing again for the sake of debugging the value of the dim. Yeah, and of course the calculated value will become the previous value, and that's it. Yeah, and of course we have also the usual, let's say, dimming interval. Yeah, when we are not on, we are not off, we are just changing the values. Yeah, and for this one of course we are just allocated a value accordingly with the dimming value that we are just choosing from the slider. Yeah, so basically here it's translating somehow the slider values from 0 to 100 to the dimming interval that it's, let's say, from 0 to 900. Yeah, okay, and that's it. The only thing that we need to do after we establish what's exactly the value that we want to write on the PWM pin to drive the MPDM version 4 dimmer, it's just run command. Yeah, and the command, obviously, it's a control command. Type is PWM. The pin, it's the pin defined here, and the calculated value is the calculated that will result from here, and that's it. Yeah, And of course I will also print this PWM calculated value for debugging reasons. Okay, so you need to copy and paste and save this script in your Domoticz scripts Lua folder, yeah, under the name script device MPDM version 4 dimmer.lua, and that's it, yeah. So if you want, these are the only extra steps that you need to take care about, yeah. Um, the script that it's treating the events, and also the user variable, yeah, the dim user variable, yeah. Okay. Um, with all these bits and pieces in place, our dimmer should start working, yeah. So as soon as I'm uh, choosing a dimmer level, yeah, it should start glowing. So let me just choose a value. So this is a 9%, yeah. Let me go a little bit higher. This is 23%, a little bit higher, 40%, okay, 23%, 52%, 71%, 89%, and 100 if you want, yeah. And now if we are going back to very low level, you can see 4%, yeah. So now what we need to do is to check if our dim level is restored properly after an on-off event, yeah. So let me choose 17%, yeah. So you can see this is let's say the dim level that we want to save when we are switching off, yeah. So I will just press the off button, yeah, and now it's turned it off, and now when I'm turning it on, it's coming to the same 17% level, yeah. I want to show you also the values, yeah. So I've just enabled the logging, yeah, and let's see what's happening. I will choose 23%, yeah. So we can see here what's happening, yeah. The Lua event it's other, the dim level it's 747, the calculated PWM value is 693, and that's it, yeah. The event obviously is triggering the script and is doing all the bits and pieces. Now I will turn it off. When I'm turning it off, you see we have the event, we have the Lua off dim value 693, and as you can see, this value it's the previous value, yeah, the latest available value for dimmer, yeah. And of course the PWM calculated value is 890 because it's a turn off, and we decided that this is the off value that we want, yeah. So this is the maximum value of our dimming interval. Okay, now when I press on, you can see we have an on event. The on dimming value it's 693, and it's normal because this was the latest value that we have saved when we turned off the dimmer, yeah. And the PWM calculated value is 693. It's just the value that we saved previously, yeah. So as you can see from the log, it's also confirming the fact that everything it's working okay. Yeah. So choosing another value, as you can see, we have an other event. The dim level is changing. Yeah, 585, and if we are going even further, you can see the value is 459 and so on. All the time we are saving one back. Yeah, and if I'm turning it off here, yeah, this is off, the latest value saved 459. Now when I'm turning it on, it will restore the dimmer to the same dimming value. Yeah. Okay, so this is how it's working. I think it's working very nice, very smooth, and without any flickering and without any other problems. Next time I will try to do a little bit more complex setup. I will mix the MPDM version 4 dimmer with the MPRS X8 home automation board because what I want to see what's happening when we have also other things happening, not only the PWM. Yeah. So if you want, it will be more like stability test to see what's happening in terms of PWM stability in case of the ESPEasy firmware. Okay, all the related code and all the related informations can be found in the article. You can find the related link down below under the video. I really hope that you enjoy it, and of course, if you like my work, please give me a big thumbs up and please subscribe. Thank you very much, and see you next time.